Okay. Ooh, I wonder what the shifty stations will be this time around. It's either going to be good or it's going to be garbage. Oh yeah, we have new weapons tonight. Ooh, this is going to be fun. When are we going to get Umbrella? I like with the new weapons. Get off the hook. Okay. Why is there strawberry? Is that a reference I'm missing? Oh god, that's still hot. Alright, let's see. Anything good for gear? I like the style, I just don't like that thing. I couldn't really think of anything Splatoon / Salsa related, but this chilies were. Ready. Boy, the kid's over here, isn't he? I've had this sitting in my thing for like weeks now. Let's go over to the shop. Hurry up. Let's take a bite of this. Please don't be scolding hot. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too hot at all. That was much hotter. Oh shit. Let's buy this one. And let's buy this one. And we'll start off using this one. We're gonna use both those weapons tonight. Just because they have new stuff that wasn't in the game last time I played. So when it comes to choosing a team, the Splatfest is Guacamole versus Salsa. A lot of people were disappointed Nacho Cheese wasn't in here, but I get it, but I know why it wasn't. I'm not gonna say that. But, so, because it's not about, like, what's on the chip, right? Because not, queso, nacho cheese, whatever, it goes on top of the chip. This is an addendum to the chip. It's completely different things. Queso can be both a addendum and on top of it, but that's not what this is going for. This one actually, I think, actually makes sense. Salsa versus guac. They can both be, I've had some spicy guac in my time. And when choosing it, so what it came down to is, well, you know, we make fun of people who like avocado toast, right? It's cliche and all that shit. Avocado actually tastes really good. I've never had avocado toast, but like raw avocado with a little bit of salt, perfect. But, you know, as I've gotten older, I've kind of worn off guacamole. Like, it's just not, I don't know, I just don't love it as much as I used to. Salsa, on the other hand, when I was a kid, I could not stand any type of salsa. I have horrible spice. Like, I cannot handle spice at all. And as an adult, I still can't handle spice. I'm still horrible with it. However, when it comes between the two, Sadie's salsa, not the stuff you buy in the jar at the store, actually going to a Sadie's restaurant and getting salsa will always be better than guac. Oh my god. And that's why I'm doing Team Salsa. Just for the Sadie salsa. Hashtag not sponsored, but seriously, go check it out. If you're ever on a road trip, and at any point you gotta go through New Mexico, you gotta get Sadie salsa. It's, oh my god, it's the best salsa. Not the can. The canned stuff just isn't the same. It really isn't. But the actual stuff itself, it's beautiful. I want to change around my equipment real quick. I gotta get, Alright, there we go. Let's just do normal for now. Yep. So if you're wondering what I've got off to the side here that I'm pulling out the heat of, I bought like a mini apple pie. It's, I think, Banquet. They're not really that great, I'll admit it, but they're just good enough, right? And I get one every once in a while, whenever I can find them. Sometimes I can't. But I got one, and I've been sitting on it for like a week now. And I just thought about it like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, oh my god, it sounds so good. And while, again, they're not great, they're perfectly fine. And I love apple pie. Theodore Roosevelt was onto something, man. That stuff is good. So I'll be chipping away at this for the next, like, 30 minutes. Apple pie. And with that, welcome to Splat and Chat number 10. I can't believe we're actually... You know, I figured we weren't going to get to 10, just because by this point we'd start doing Smash and Chat. But no, we got to number 10, and we'll probably go even farther. I'm still debating the future of this series. I mean, it's still going to happen in one way or another, but how I do Smash and Chat, Splat and Chat, Fortnite and Chat, what would Chicky do in Chat, alright, how I do it, I'm still kind of up in the air on, but this series is definitely going to continue. In one way or another. I'm still kind of experimenting around with it. We're going to do a single match. Oh, we're starting... I'll give my thoughts on the Shifty Stations, and then we'll get into the actual, topics. I said, because we did one just 2 weeks ago, and I said during that one happening tonight depended entirely on if there was enough, like, topics and whatnot, which there usually are. But my god, there's a bunch of stuff. Especially because I've been kind of going conspiracy theory mad over the past, like, 2 weeks, and we will get into that. Now, I'm going to be honest, as a weapon, I admittedly do kind of hate this thing. I'm curious to see how good this bomb is, because in principle, this bomb sounds really good. Oh my god, it's just... This bomb, in, like, a heat-seeking bomb sounds really good. I haven't seen anything on it, because again, I haven't played this game in a few weeks. I've been trying to beat Mega Man 11. I wanted to get my review out a while ago, but I just couldn't do it. And instead, yeah, I've been mostly playing... I've mostly just been playing Mega Man 11. But yeah, for the past week, I have kind of gone conspiracy theory mad. There's been a lot of stuff that happened, and I've kind of been just kind of, like, stacking it all up. This could totally result in another Grinch leak, and I would not... What I mean by Grinch leak is where all this evidence seems to keep stacking towards it being a yes, but then it turns out to be no in the end. I'm not ruling that out or anything. But it's just, everything seems to be stacking up, and there is some counter evidence, and I will present that as well. That'll probably be our main topic tonight, but we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about as well. But we'll do that in a minute. I gotta actually pull up the list. We also got a few there's the stuff I've been playing, but there's also been a bunch of, like, new releases. at least trying to make some progress. I feel like, I was gonna say, I was really disappointed by the fact that there's only one way over, is going through the center. And especially, like, I wish if you had control of the lane, you could force yourself through. That doesn't entirely seem to be it. Like, there is that third way over, but I don't... Right now, I'm indifferent on it. We'll have to play on it a few times to see how I really feel, but for the moment, So yeah, holy shit, we got a lot of stuff. Okay. So let's start off with something that just happened yesterday. So I guess Reggie's been doing a bunch of interviews recently, for just reasons. It doesn't really matter. And in an interview, he was asked about the N64 Classic, and he had some quote where he's like, the NES and SNES classics were planned, they were calculated, right? They were supposed to be in our transitioning phase from the Wii U to the Switch, especially because the Wii U wasn't doing so well. But now that the Switch is doing well, and they're going to be focusing on it for this holiday season with Smash Bros., they don't need an N64 Classic. And while it's not off of the table, nothing ever is with Nintendo. It's not happening it's not on the horizon, I think is what he said. I do believe he is telling the truth. A lot of people were expecting it this holiday season. I was not one of them. I knew it wasn't coming this holiday season. If it was, it would have released by now. Plus, Nintendo's not going... I mean, they were able to release the original NES classics because, again, the Wii U wasn't doing too hot. And even though they were limited time items, they were basically... In theory, they should have been holiday items. And I'd argue they are holiday items this year. And partially last year, Nintendo's biggest fuck-up was that by limited time, they had the perfect chance for a holiday item, and they only made 10 of them. That was Nintendo's biggest fuck-up. Is that they had the holiday item, and then they only made 10 of them. With the NES, the SNES is better, and this year, they have made enough of them that, yeah, it will be a holiday item this year. God, I hate this thing. I hate this gun. I love the normal Brella, mostly in ranked mode. Giant Brella's fine, but the undercover Brella just isn't my style. So I knew the N64 Classic wasn't happening. The other thing was they specifically stopped production of the NES Classic to start production of the SNES Classic. And then they kind of did, and then after they did a run of the SNES Classic, they then started to put some production into the NES Classic with some production into their own stuff, right? They did a little bit of both at the same time, and that's why I knew this wasn't going to happen. Was because they were doing production, they stopped production on one to do production of the other. They couldn't do production of an N64 while also doing NES and SNES. So it was never going to happen this holiday season. Let's be real here. I've known that for a while now, and I'm not the only one to have taken a guess at that. The big question, though, is will it happen next holiday season? Maybe? I mean, it depends. I think it depends on several factors, like when is Animal Crossing coming out? When is Metroid Prime? I think if Metroid Prime 4 ends up being our holiday title, comes out in like November or October, then we will definitely see it next year. I think if and I say that because it's Metroid Prime, while it is Nintendo's third biggest series in the West, I don't know if it has like this market dominating power like Smash, Mario, and Zelda do. You know what I'm saying? It's still huge. Like Samus is one of the most recognizable characters in gaming. But you see where I can see where why, right? It all depends on their holiday season. Animal Crossing, I still predict Animal Crossing in May, We'll see, we'll see. But I do see why it's saying it. I still definitely believe it's going to happen. Even if it happens later on in the generation. I am disappointed, though, because there were some things I really would have loved to play on an N64 Classic. Which leads me into my next thing. The classic system we are getting this year is the PlayStation Classic. I talked about this last time. How I thought the game lineup was mediocre, to say the least. Right? I wasn't too happy with it. So I thought the game lineup was mediocre. I talked about it last time about how I had like 10 games I was missing. I just wasn't down for it. I was not down for it. So, but I wasn't going to cancel my order right away. I was like, maybe I'll pick it up still. Maybe I'll see how it goes, right? The other big important thing to me was the UI. How did the interface look? We finally got to look at, because you can tell a lot about these retro consoles by how they do their interface. Because most of them have very bad interfaces. And the interface on the PlayStation Classic sucks. It's just not that good. The emulation, I heard, is fine. I guess they're using like a fan emulator or something. I said last time, they should have just used Nintendo's emulator. It was open source after all, and they are using an open source emulator. And they're getting way too much shit for it. I mean, maybe not the emulator, but the software. Something was open source about the NES and SNES classics. I don't remember what. I couldn't tell you. So I think the open sourceness is fine, but it's just the interface kills me. You can tell a lot by a system's interface, right? Because it shows how much love is put. If an interface is bad, it shows you how much love and care was put into the rest of the product. And the PlayStation Classic has a poor interface. I know, right, you could argue the NES and SNES Classics are just cash grabs, and you're technically right. But at the same time, I feel like they have heart, right? They have something about them that's special. And it's for all these reasons, and again, the game selection kind of sucks, that I've decided to cancel my pre-order on the PlayStation Classic. I couldn't do it. It was the interface stuff that killed me. Hey, it saves me $100. Which, hey, everyone was telling me, and I have no way to prove this or not. Everyone said that, hey, if you want a PlayStation Classic but don't want to put up with all the shit, check out the what is it called? The PS Vita. I've shit on the Vita in the past, and I do think some of its shit is deserved. Some of it. But it's probably a fine system. And I've kind of been looking at Vitas, to, like, maybe see if I can get into them. Maybe I can hack one, God, I put so much freaking lead into this thing. Now you die. But, so I've had problems with. But yeah, so I'm looking. See, the problem is getting a Vita is just so complicated. The way people explain it, everything just seems so complicated when it comes to getting a Vita. So I'm not entirely sure. I may do it, I may not. I'm still also may put that money back into a PS4, which I'm also on the fence about. They have one for the Black Friday deal is like $200 for the PS4 and Spider-Man, and the Sony Black Friday deals have already started on their digital store. And yeah, some of it's definitely interesting. God of War is I think $20. Horizon Zero Dawn's $20, more or less. So there is definitely some stuff that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm on board, but I don't know if I'll do much more than that. That's my big worry. I had a list at one point of like 10, 20 PS4 games I'd want, but I don't. It's just gotten so complicated recently. I don't know. I may do it. Knowing me, I probably won't. Who knows? But that's all things I'm taking Because if I buy one, it'll be next week. Only time will tell. But yeah, I canceled my PlayStation Classic. I could totally see how someone's gonna have fun out of it. Especially when we do figure out how to hack it, because that's inevitable. But for me personally, there's just not enough there. I'd much rather do a Vita where I can get more utilitarian out of it. It has more of a utilitarian purpose. Even if Vita production is shutting down and they aren't making game cartridges anymore. And it's also portable, which is nice. I said in my thing, my main sticking point is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I want to say it was Klonoa. Those were the two games I wanted to be on there that weren't on there. And that just breaks my heart. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just finished up my pie, so hey, you're done with that. Only took me about 20 minutes, yeah. It was a fine pie. Let's see, what else? PlayStation Classic. I'm gonna save that one. That's my conspiracy theory stuff. Let's talk about... So, I've never talked about movies on here before. Well, I know I've talked about, like, Venom on stream before. I think I did that once. But, we got two movie trailers that I want to talk about. One, the less obvious one is Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4, you know, I like Toy Story. I love Toy Story. What kid growing up in that era, post-1995, doesn't? Even earlier than that, right? As long as you were a kid in 1995, you probably enjoy Toy Story. Toy Story 2 is also great. It's my, between the two, it's my favorite. And then Toy Story 3. When I first saw Toy Story 3, much like probably a majority of people who saw it, I loved it, right? I totally got it. I totally saw why everyone liked it. But as time's gone on, I just kind of find myself liking it less and less. It's a carbon copy, more or less, of Toy Story 2. There used to be that joke that would float around about how Toy Story 3 was basically just The Walking Dead, which I always thought was really funny. Yeah, but yeah, so Toy Story 4. I don't know how to feel about this, because we see the trailer. I thought the rumor thing was that it took place between the second and third one? Right, and it was about finding out what happened to Bo Peep, you know, Woody's love interest who dies in between movies for Disney disease reasons. It's stupid. And that was the rumored plot. Now, I'm not entirely sure, because there's this fake toy that's having an identity crisis. We've seen this duck and this bear react to the movie, and it was kind of stupid. I'll admit that. Oh, God, I was hoping to get them in before they hammer them. We'll try out the hammer here in a minute as well. Well, I'll do like one or two more matches with this, and then... Yeah, we got the and yeah, it's this weird, like, I think they called him Forky, even though he's a spork, but he's a talking spork, and it's a weird trailer. It's a teaser trailer, so it tells us nothing. Oh God, it just started going after them. I have no idea where I was completely lost that first. Holy crap, they are dominating on us. Shit. But yeah, so I'm overall, you know, if Pixar hasn't been on Pixar's been on a losing streak lately. I'm not the only one to notice this, right? I personally love Inside Out, but other than that, I feel like everything Pixar's done recently has been a disappointment, to say the least. Right, Good Dinosaur, there's other stuff. They canceled that one. Was that Pixar or Disney who canceled the Giants movie? They were doing like a Jack and the Beanstalk thing I think that was Disney. That sounded interesting, but then they just did nothing with it. What else did Pixar do recently? I can't remember. I remember I liked Inside Out. Good Dinosaur I didn't care for. Coco was Disney. Wreck-It Ralph, which comes out next week, is Disney. What else has Pixar done? I don't remember. Let's see. I'm Googling it. I swear, was Pixar Coco? I thought Disney was Coco. Well, I mean, I know it's Disney and Pixar, but I didn't think... Okay, Coco was good. Actually, I cried at Coco. Incredibles 2 was okay. I did not... some of it I thought worked, some of it did not at all. It had potential, and yeah... It took a second viewing to get really... Like, the first one, I was just like, oh, I was so hyped from not seeing an Incredibles movie, because that was my favorite for the longest time. But to see it, that broke my heart, man. That really did. I wanted it to be better than it actually was. Yeah, that's... See, I swear there was something else, but I guess not. But yeah, so I don't have much hopes for Toy Story 4, I'll just say that. The other movie trailer that would completely overshadow Toy Story 4 was Detective Pikachu. When you see this movie in like still images or thumbnails, it looks like garbage. It does not look that good. When you actually see it like moving around and animated, the animation looks fine. I said this on I've said this in the past, and I said this on Twitter with Detective Pikachu. There has never been a good video game movie. There's been good movies about video games, but there's never been a good movie inspired by a video game. You know what I'm talking about? It's the difference between like Wreck-It Ralph and Tomb Raider or Assassin's Creed or the Mario Brothers movie, right? The latter has never been good, but the former can be good. It can also be bad. Look at i.e. The Wizard. God, this thing just cannot. It takes like 3 hits to kill. 3 if I'm lucky. God, I do not like this weapon at all. But yeah, so the Detective Pikachu, it's Ryan Reynolds playing Detective Pikachu. I know everyone loves Danny DeVito and thought he would be great. Ryan Reynolds is good though. Ryan Reynolds is good. I know some people don't like Ryan Reynolds, and I kind of see it, but I do. I think he made Deadpool likable, so I'll give him credit for that. I hate Deadpool in comics. I really do. It's just, he's too off the wall for me. He's too fourth wall breaky. You need a fourth wall breaking can go wrong very easily. Deadpool in the comics is a perfect example of it going too far. It goes wrong, but Deadpool in the movies, I think, does it perfectly. It finds this perfect balance. Oh god, I'm so at least that's my opinion. But I think Ryan Reynolds is great. He looks fine in it. Justice Smith is the kid. He's playing Tim. He was... The only thing I know him from is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He plays the nerd. He didn't really do that good in that movie, but neither did Chris Pratt. And Chris Pratt is also great, so I put that more on a movie problem. I have no idea. He could be... I'm willing to totally give him the benefit of the doubt. It's being done by Legendary Pictures, who are fine. I've seen them do fine stuff before. I mean, I'm one of the few people who likes the Godzilla movie, so take that however you will. I'd love to get over there. Who else is... Oh my god, he just fell off the ledge. Where'd he go? We lost. I don't think we had enough. But yeah, I know a lot of people were like distraught by Fuzzy Pikachu and Fuzzy Jigglypuff. Fuzzy Jigglypuff totally makes sense in my mind. He's got the little hair curl at the top of his head. Yeah, I totally am behind Fuzzy Jigglypuff. And it is like, so we found out that the guy who did like those realistic Pokemon arts actually got hired to work on the Detective Pikachu movie. That's really cool. Again, fan art can really pay off. That also, same thing happened with Spyro. Someone who made Spyro fan art got a job working on Spyro Insane Trilogy. That's really cool. At least that's what I heard. But the guy who did the realistic Pikachu art and all that stuff was ugly. I hate art that's like intentionally trying to be, right? Like that's intentionally trying to be ugly. I think of like the realistic Ed, Edd and Eddy or the realistic Homer Simpsons, where they're trying to be realistic, but they're not actually realistic. They're just ugly. I hate that art. And at least, I mean, he got a job on this, and at least it shows that he can do good work. And the art itself was fine. It's just, I hate it. I just don't like that style. But this looks fine. It is trying to blend the real world, but I feel like it's appealing more to the real world than that art, which is just purposefully trying to make something grotesque. At least that's how I've always viewed it. I think all the Pokemon look fine. The actual plot, it's Detective Pikachu. That's stupid, but as long as they're willing to acknowledge that it's kind of stupid, it'll be fine. There's so much attention to detail. There's like so many signs and little background details that just have so much love and care put into it. It does have a lot of potential. I think this could be the first ever good video game movie. It could, if it's not, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, there's never been a good video game movie. But I think this has a chance. I really do. I know nothing about the Detective Pikachu game. I've never played it, never will. Not of interest to me at all. But yeah, so that was something that happened that I thought was really interesting. Okay. So, even though I do have Pokemon on the list. Let's just do this one. Let's talk about Diablo Immortal. BlizzCon was, I want to say I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was like 2 weeks ago from, let's just say it was 2 weeks ago. It was sometime after I did the last Splat and shit. And we got some interesting stuff. Ashe. I think Ashe in Overwatch, she looks fine. She looks fun. I like the McCree trailer. I think that looks good. That could be fun. Again, I don't really play Overwatch, even though I'd like to. It's a personal thing. Yeah, I'm so out of practice with Use Brush. I'm not gonna lie. I am super out of practice. I used to use... Ink Brush used to be my main in Splatoon. The original Splatoon. It was either that or the gold. Or just the normal dynamo. I didn't use gold dynamo. So this is the other. So I didn't really talk about the bomb earlier. So there's a new bomb. That's I kind of talked about its homing. I think it sounds powerful, but it didn't really seem to be. The range seemed to be pretty weak. In actuality, the other new weapon is this hammer, which looks kind of cool. We'll see how it actually is. God, I feel like I just laid 10 hits into the guy, and it did nothing. Okay, back to Diablo Immortal. So Diablo Immortal got announced, and it was announced to just uproarious boos. Massive disappointment from the crowd. And I get it. I totally get it. I totally side with the fans. If you're going to do something like a mobile game that people do not like, you have to balance it with something else. We've seen almost every other company has figured this out in some way, shape, or form, I feel like. Bethesda, when they announced Fallout Shelter, also announced Fallout 4, right? Nintendo, when they were going to announce Metroid Prime Samus Returns, they knew there was going to be some sort of backlash. So to compensate for it, they also announced a JPEG of Metroid Prime 4, right? When they announced the Animal Crossing City Folk, or whatever, not Happy Home Designer. What's the Animal Crossing mobile game? Whatever the Animal Crossing mobile game is, when they announced it, they also said it was going to work with future Animal Crossing games, clearly hinting at it working with Animal Crossing 2019. Right? You have to. When they announced Isabelle and Smash, they announced a new Animal Crossing game. How that connects, I'm not entirely sure. Right? Like, I don't think it was needed, but I'm fine with it. I've just been doing horrible tonight. Well, the first few matches went well. But yeah, so you need to preface this, and there are tons of other examples, and there's examples of fucking it up. EA earlier this year with Command & Conquer. They revealed Command & Conquer Rivals, I think it was called, a mobile game. Everybody shit on it. Nobody wanted it. And of course, they are trying to make up for it. They announced a Command & Conquer remake, I think it is. I've never played a Command & Conquer game. I have no interest in it. It's just not my style of game. I'll fully admit that. But that's what they did. And, there's other examples, but them going in and being like, we're going to announce a Diablo mobile game. It's not going to come to PC. And we're not going to even just... All you have to do is show a JPEG. It's not that hard to do. Just show a freaking JPEG that you're worth... Oh, Bethesda this year. They announced Fallout 76, and they announced a Skyrim mobile game. A Skyrim mobile game that I feel like everyone's forgotten. But they announced this mobile game. They knew they were going to get backlash. I don't think they have, just because everyone forgot about it. But, just to make up for it, they showed a JPEG for both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. I think, was it Elder Scrolls Immortal? Was that what the mobile game was called? I don't remember the name of the Elder Scrolls mobile game. But you can see where the problem comes in, right? They were willing to preempt it with, yeah, we are working on a new Skyrim, even though it's probably not going to be out until the next generation. So give it at minimum 2 years. But you have to preface this, and they just messed up. They screwed up. They didn't do that. And I don't blame it on the guy. Whoever was out there presenting it, it's not his fault. Don't give him shit. He's just doing his job. He's just following orders. Blame Blizzard, the company. Blame the president. Blame the board of directors. You will never know. They're the ones at fault. They're the ones who you should direct your hate at. And if you do want to direct your hate, you are perfectly feasible to. Booing to them on stage is definitely something you should do. I feel bad for the guy, of course, but you need to let them know about your reaction. We've seen backlash, we've seen counter backlash, we've seen counter backlash to the backlash about who's right here, who's wrong. And while I do think the fans are right, I also do not think like the counter backlash, mostly from like game websites, like IGN or the one that drove me up, the one that I watched, Kind of Funny, kind of drove me up a wall with that. Freaking, they were just blaming the fans. You know, I like Kind of Funny, I watch him from time to time, but that was annoying. But, besides ranting on Kind of Funny, I still think they're fine. I mean, I just watched them earlier today. But yeah. So they screwed up on that. There was the whole April Fool's thing joke, which it was obviously meant to be a joke, right? It was meant to be a joke. And then the guy asks if it's going to come on PC. And people have been giving him shit for the April Fool's thing joke. I think it's fine. It was clearly meant to be a joke. Right? I'm not going to fault him for that. I don't know how to feel about this stat. I feel like it could be good, but I also have not had good luck with it. But then, so some guy asks if it's going to be ported to PC at any point in the future, and they say no, there are no plans to port it on PC in the inevitable future. And then the crowd starts to boo, and what do they say? Oh, what, do you guys not have phones? That's just not how you do it. I mean, even if it's... I mean, look at what Blizzard's been saying about Overwatch, right? I keep seeing Activision Blizzard talks about Overwatch on the Switch, right? Like, oh, they're considering it. Oh, it might happen. Whether or not it happens or not, you should at least say you're considering it. Which I do think Activision Blizzard loves money, so not putting Overwatch on the Switch would be like a blatant waste of money, in my opinion. So I think it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Next year, obviously, they'll probably... I would say they'd probably announce it at like E3 or BlizzCon next year, and it'll come out like a same-day release style thing. I think that would be a really cool way to do it. I may actually pick up Overwatch if that happens. So, yeah, that happened in the backlash, and I totally get it. I think all the backlash is deserved. There's also this whole thing with the development team, and the development team basically made Diablo ripoffs, and now this is just appearing to be another Diablo ripoff. But it's like an officially licensed Diablo ripoff, which is complicated. There's also... Activision Blizzard is a money-grubbing company. I've said that before. I don't buy Activision Blizzard games. I don't buy EA games. Even though, again, Overwatch is complicated for me, because as a game, I do legitimately like it. But, God. Then they said, so I guess a majority of the employees at Blizzard, or some portion of them, because they're making games, oh my god, look how close that was, 3 points. They no longer have time to play games. So a majority of them have become players of mobile games. And because of that, Activision Blizzard seems to be switching its focus towards mobile games, or at least Blizzard is, which is a terrible idea. The mobile game market is so the gaming market in general right now, for the most part, is very unstable. It's in a bubble that is going to burst because of microtransactions, loot boxes, gold, silver editions, all this stuff. It's a bubble that's going to burst. It's just a matter of time. And you know, whatever this Diablo game is, it's gonna have microtransactions, much like Diablo 3's auction house. It's just a matter of time. Well, it'd be there at launch. But it's a mobile game. It's free. It's what I expect. I'll cut it some slack. But no, the gaming industry is just a bubble that's waiting to burst. I hope companies like Nintendo and Sony, the two good ones, are able to save through it, right? The companies that make the good games, Bethesda to a lesser extent. But I don't know, it's only a matter of time. Did you hear that there was a thing about, I guess, Activision in a board meeting or something? Call of Duty Black Ops 4, even though it made, like, $400 million, is still considered a failure because it made less than, like, Black Ops 3 or something like that, which made $425 million. That's the tail signs of a bubble that's going to burst. It's probably not going to burst anytime soon, mind you. We probably still got a few years out of it. But it's going to happen. Mark my words. It's what we're doing right now to the gaming industry with microtransactions and loot boxes in paid games. People only have so much money. People can only support games for so long. It's gonna pop. It's gonna pop. Mark my words. I hate to say it, but for companies like EA and Activision Blizzard, no, they can run a hell But I hate how it's going to affect other companies like Nintendo and Sony, you know? The ones that aren't complete, total dickheads about this stuff. I at least made some progress over on that base. But yeah, that's the whole Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, Diablo Immortal thing. It's just, it's a shit show, and I totally side with the gamers. It's not a good sign for the future of the industry. The industry is it's not in disrepair. They can totally salvage this. And the fact that companies like Nintendo and Sony, and like to a lesser extent Bethesda and CD Projekt Red are as good as they are, there is still hope. But I do worry. Alright, next up. Give me a second, I gotta find it. Have they really started? Diablo Immortal. I don't want to talk about Smash is how we initially always. Anything that's not part of my conspiracy theory. So, I guess... How do I want to do this? I don't want to... Let's talk about what came out this week. So, I'll get to what games I've been playing here in a little bit. But I want to talk about... There's been 3 major game releases this week. And while I admittedly have not played any of them, I kind of have thoughts on all 3 to varying degrees, right? So the first one, the one that started off on Tuesday, was the Spyro Reignited trailer. This thing got delayed, and now it's finally coming out. And you know what? It looks, it looks great. I'm actually really interested in it. The only reason I didn't buy it was because I don't own a PS4, I'd never get to play it on Xbox, and I'm waiting for the Switch release. When the Switch release happens, I will buy Spyro. I need to buy Crash as well. I said I was going to do that, but then just so many other games, and I can't buy it right now because Pokemon and other game that we'll get to, obviously. But no, Spyro looks great. I'm interested in it. Like I said with the PlayStation, right, I don't really have much experience with the 6th generation of consoles. PS1, Sega Saturn, and N64. But that doesn't mean I don't want to get, like, information on those games. And Spyro, Crash, right? There was the prediction about my whole Banjo-Kazooie thing that didn't come to fruition. That was disappointing. We'll get to XO18 in a minute, in a little bit. Probably when I get up to go get some water. But yeah. And yeah, it looks good. I heard it's fine. It's got some difficulty problems, much like Spyro did, or the Crash Bandicoot thing did. Of course, somebody compared it to Dark Souls. What else did you expect? But it looks fine. I am interested in it. I mean, Jeremy Dooley, just alone talking about it is more than enough to sell it for me. Right? Just listening to him talk about Spyro sells that game. But yeah, that came out, and I am interested. Next, the following day, Wednesday, Fallout 76 finally came out. I've seen some gameplay of it. I've watched some stuff on it. It's complicated, really. Some of it, again, I like Fallout. I've mostly just played the newer ones, right? I mostly put my time into 4. With I put some time into 3, and sometime I need to put more time into New Vegas. Admittedly, like I've been meaning to play New Vegas for like a year now, just like fully divulge myself into it, but I've just been so freaking busy. And I keep just returning to Splatoon. But so yeah, Fallout. Some of it worries me. Like all the NPCs are robots, and I don't know how I feel about that. Again, I don't know if there are microtransactions in it yet, but microtransactions the fact that there might be microtransactions does admittedly worry me. Not even the fact that there might, because they totally have an infrastructure for them. It's just a question of will they implement them, and if they do, how? Because that's what I like about Bethesda, is that they do single player, and I do think they should stick to single player games, honestly. Like, yeah, they can do some good, but it's still it uses Fallout 4's engine, just retrofitted for online. I've just heard tons of problems with it. I don't think there are any reviews yet, but they are kind of trickling out, and they haven't been pretty, is what I've heard. I mean, it's still the game industry, so it'll probably still end up with like a 7 out of 10. But it isn't pretty, is all I'm saying. But let's be honest here, I usually don't play Bethesda games for like a year or two after they release. Usually within a year. Like, I need to play Doom. I still have not played Doom yet. That's been a big void on my list. I probably won't do it until next year. Just because, again, I've got so much other shit to worry about. Smash Bros. If there were any good Black Friday deals on Nintendo games, it'd be a different story. Or on, like, Doom and Crash, it'd be a different story. But I haven't seen any of them. I mean, I have Sony's list, but I don't have Microsoft. I don't know if they're doing anything. I mean, they probably are. I know Sony's not, but I haven't heard anything. And then the last game, speaking of Nintendo, is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. This came out today. I talked about this earlier, how I was interested in it, but I didn't know if I was right. I haven't bought it. I admittedly still haven't bought it. But I think I'll have fun with it. Again, what's killing me right now is Smash Bros. Smash Bros require... I talked about, because I'm an amiibo collector, and also the Splatoon amiibo come out on that same day. Smash Bros is like a huge investment, an investment I've been saving money for since August. Also, and then you have the PS2, which I've been saving money for. I've been saving money for a PS2 for like over a year now. I have the money to do it. I've had the money to do it since like July. I've had the money to do it since E3. I've had the money to do it all this time. I just cannot pull the trigger. I've had the gun loaded and cocked, but I can't bring myself to do it, no matter how hard I try. It's driving me crazy. It really is. But yeah, Smash Bros. Is also a huge investment that I've got a lot of money synced into. That's why I haven't bought Pokemon. Just because that money is probably going to go for Smash Bros. I want Pokemon. I really need to beat Mega Man 11 before I start anything else. That's been in my back catalog. I've got the final boss. I've got 2 levels left. The Robot Master Gauntlet, and the final boss. I assume it's the Robot Master Gauntlet. I haven't actually played the level. I'm really close, and I was just making progress on that today. Even though, again, I've been playing other stuff that I already own, which we'll get to here in a minute. But Pokemon, it looks fine. I know there are some negative aspects to it, and it is definitely built for, like, a first-time gamer. Which, yeah, and you know, there's no problem to that. Pokemon Go... I know a lot of people joke that Pokemon Go is dead, right? That within like 6 months of release, it was dead, nobody was playing it. But that's not true. It still makes like $50 million a year or something like that. It still makes a stupid amount of money. And it's only gotten bigger. Like, I hear more and more people playing it all the time. I play it. I got a Turtwig yesterday. Kind of Turtwig and I won't say an Onyx. I didn't play it for that long, admittedly. But yeah, no, I totally get the appeal of Pokemon Go. Well, I don't live in a small town I live in the largest town in my city. At least where I live locally, there are no Pokestops. like, the most in one area is a local park has, like, 2. Other than that, like, you see pictures of LA and there are, like, 100. Just right within, like, a block of each other. Yeah, my local town doesn't have any of those. We have, yeah, like, I mean, I know there are probably some better acquainted areas with, like, art and stuff. But it's overall disappointing. Any Pokestop that I think would be a Pokestop ends up being a stupid, gym. Which is always disappointing. Long. Okay. Shit! Clever girl. What else? What else is going on? But yeah, it's for newcomers, and I'm fine with that. It does give me hope that the next, because people have been complaining like since X and Y and Sun and Moon that they were too easy, right? They were made for casuals, especially Sun and Moon with its 7-hour tutorial. Again, I will stand by this. I'll say this every time. There are, of the main series Pokemon games, there are no bad Pokemon games. Every other game, every 2 generations, like people, ever since the 3rd gen, people have always hated the older gen, hated the newest one, while liking the older one. People hated Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald when it came out, but they loved the original 2. People hated in Diamond and Pearl, but again, they loved the original 2. People, what was the other one? Oh, then Gen 5 came out. People hated Gen 5. But they turned around on Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. Now all of a sudden Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald is like the best one. Gen 6 came out. People liked Gen 6 when it came out, but within like a year, everyone kind of hated it. But, and the hatred for Gen 5 was legendary. People hated Gen 5 so much. It was crazy. But people hated Gen 6, but they warmed up to Sun and Moon, declaring Platinum the best game. Now that Sun and Moon are out, people hate Sun, Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon. Never played those 2. But now they praise Black and White 2 as the best game in the series. And when Gen 8 comes out, people start liking X and Y again, and just shit on, shit on the new game. That's how it works with Pokemon fans. They're all a bunch of bitches. All Pokemon games are good, all regions are great, all generations have good Pokemon, even Gen 1. I'm one of those people who hates Gen 1. Like, it has, at the time, yeah, it was great, but it has not aged well. The remakes are better, I'll admit that, but there are a lot of problems, the Pokemon especially. People always shit on the ice cream cone, but I will always shit on the magnet, in the circle, in the inverted circle. Oh my god, it was the worst. The goo. We shit on the trash bag. The mound of goo is worse. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Bunch of bitches. But yeah, Let's Go is a more casual game. Hopefully it'll make the next game harder. And there are some quality of life changes I do like. I like the EXP share working on all Pokemon. I think that's a great quality of life experience, especially when training teams, both for mid-game and post-game stuff. There's a lot of great things that, and I know some people hate it, because it makes the games too easy, but I don't... Bunch of bitches. Really. Well, again, but that's just me. That's how I feel. Yeah, I think it's fine, a more casual game. I will pick it up. I don't care for that Pokemon Plus accessory. I feel like that's a little too... No, thank you very much. But other than that, I think the games look fine. Pokemon Let's Go and Eevee. Yeah, they look fine. I'm definitely going to do it at some point. Definitely at some point. I've been saying the same thing with Sun and Moon since Sun and Moon's release. Did Sun and Moon come out last year or 2 years ago? I don't even remember at this point. It's been so long. I need to pick up Silent Hill. Again, that's another game I'd love to see on sale for Black Friday for like 20 bucks. I'd definitely pick up one of them, maybe even both of them. That just depends. I don't think I like this map, I'll be honest. I feel like it's too, again, that bottlenecking in the center, as long as you can keep that active, I feel like you have complete control over the map. Because, yeah, like, we were able to make our way over here, but nobody controlled the bottleneck, so they were able to push. You have these two geysers up here that basically give you access to our base. I mean, really, they do. Yeah, no, I don't care for this one. Yeah, so, yeah, Pokemon, it's fine. I hate this this nature of just like, oh, we're pros, we gotta... It's this elitist mentality with Pokemon, that we can't just let people enjoy the game. It has to fail because it's too casual. It's not that actually. Let people enjoy their simplistic Pokemon game. I've heard like one or two people say there's depth to it. I don't actually know if they're substantiated. I don't know if those are like, that's like real or not. But at least that's what I've heard. God, we got destroyed. We got destroyed. Okay, that's on that. Okay. I'm gonna go get some more water to throw away this pie wrapper that I never got rid of. It's not a wrapper. And when we come back, we'll talk about games I've played, and then we'll get into the main stories. Plus, I'll also get a better weapon. A weapon that I like. The Splush-O-Matic. What else? What other weapon do I freaking play? Oh, we'll also go into the other mode. So, I think it's this one. So, for anyone who's been around a while, you know, I'm a fan of Achievement Hunter. I've said this before. In this time when I have barely any time to watch YouTube or play video games, well, I say that, it's more complicated than that. Achievement Hunter is one of the only ones I can consistently watch, and even more. Even Vine Sauce, one I've always praised, I just don't have the time to watch, like, 10-hour streams. It's not... Yeah. But, Achievement Hunter, they did do a Moon Bell. And as a sucker, I did it. I got the Achievement Hunter Moon Ball. This wasn't supposed to come for like a week. But it came in early. Well, I don't know if that was just their tracking system. Because it was stuck in like... oh god, what was the one? I almost said, Guadalajara? Is that what it was? I don't know, but it finally got here. I've got the moon ball. I still have it in the box for the moment. Yeah, it bounces fine. It's cool. It's cool I have a moon ball. That's been something that's been taken forever, but that's my little thing. That's like the only thing I bought. But yeah, because Extra Life was this weekend, and I did watch Extra Life, which yeah, I've been busy with college work. It's been killing, especially this week. Oh my god, this week I had so much shit to do. I have read / listened to, because again, I'm weird like that. I'm one of the, you know, those like, remember back in school they teach you like the 3 types of learners. Which type are you? Audio, video, or kinetic? I think it was kinetic. I was like the only audio one. And audio, I just find it easier with audio. But so I've had to read like over 500 pages, and I have to read just this week 500 pages. I'm like 300 in right now. I've still got another, like, I have one of the books as like a text-to-speech audio book, and it has like another 4.5 hours to go. So that's just tomorrow is me playing Splatoon for the Splatfest, probably playing some Minecraft as well, and just listening to these audiobooks. I meant to change my weapons and just completely forgot. We'll do that as well. Yeah, so extra, but last week was kind of okay, right? I had some stuff. I had 1 paper due. Well, okay, I had 3. I usually on average have 2 to 3 papers due a week. This week, however, I've had 1, 2, 3. And when I say papers, they're usually, most of these papers are like 1 page. Oh yeah, most of these they're just a single page paper, which isn't too bad. I'll fully admit that. But they still take their friggin' time. Last week I had one, like, it was like an 8-page paper, which I know for some people that's not much, but remember, suffering is relative. And then the other paper was and then just a bunch of 1-pages. This week I have a 3-page and like 9 1-page papers, of which I have done, I want to say 5 of them. One of them is optional. I think one of them is admittedly optional. And by optional, I mean I'm not doing it. The others, though, I'm working on. I just realized this is our Christmas color. They actually, in New Mexico, they have red and green chili, which is, again, I talked about this, the reason I joined Team Salsa. Red and green chili combined is called Christmas. Just random fact for people in the Southwest, for people anywhere over in the Southwest. Yeah, so all this paper stuff, I haven't really had much time. Mostly, if I do play some, but with that being said, listening to these books and, well, not reading them, but while listening to them, it is the most insufferable thing. It's just so boring. I hate it. I hate listening to these books so much. So I need something to do. I've talked about this in the past with, like, this is why I've put like 100 hours into Mini Metro. Okay, not really, it's probably like 28. But this is where my addiction to Mini Metro came from, is that I just needed something to do. And and the Mini Metro is a great casual game. I try to use Civ 6, but Civ just requires too much of my attention. It never works, especially late game. I tried it with Civ 6 again. I tried playing a game of Civ 6. And I was just, like, so distracted. Oh my god. So I had to stop that. I still put, like, 4 hours into the game, which got me to, like, the industrial age. We lost, I think. Yeah, no. Yeah, we probably lost. Oh, no. I guess we just had enough of that area down, slightly in mid, right? I have no idea how people get level 84 in this game. But God, I'm all over the place. But while I've been reading the books, I've been playing, I got back into Stardew. I put like I'm finally in winter of year 2. The game always loses me in winter. It just, it kind of started losing me at the end of fall, and now as we get into winter, I'm kind of like, I'm just, same thing happened in year 1, where I'm just like, I feel like I'm not doing enough, just because you can't farm. I mean, I'm still going to the mines every day. I've been playing Stardew, I've been playing Minecraft, I finally found one of those woodland villages. I think I found this last time. Nah, maybe not. I know I talked about my Ender Dragon experience last time, I think. But I found one of these woodlawn mansions. I went, I explored it. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Like, I expected the thing to kick my ass. It really wasn't. It took me forever to find. I died like several times. But I found it. I got the woodlawn mansion. And then, yeah, right now, my only option is to kill the wither. Like, that's the last big thing I have to do. But finding wither skulls, I found 2 so far. One got burned up in fire. The other one I was able to hold on to. But that's really just all I'm doing right now in Minecraft. My Minecraft game's kind of slowed. I've been playing, Mega Man 11 again. I'm in the final world. I don't want to give any away spoilers, but I finally beat the boss of the first level in the boss world. Or in the final world, let's say. The boss, whatever you want to call it. Oh my god, I hated that. I get why it's there, but it's one of my problems with Mega Man 11, which I've been meaning to get out my review for weeks now. But again, I just couldn't beat the game, and now, I don't know, it's not, my review, it always takes me forever to get a review out, so they're never relevant, really. But I still will probably do it, because I mostly have the script written anyways. But yeah, that's been Mega Man 11. But the main game I've been playing, the reason why I brought up Extra Life and all this stuff is while I was watching Extra Life, I was like, well, I wanted to kind of sit down and play a game. And there's this channel, Seed Gaming, and the entire purpose of it, and, well, the main thing he does is Mario. Super Mario Maker, but he's recently been kind of taking up doing Mario, beating Mario with collecting no coins, beating Mario, Luigi U collecting no coins, lowest possible score, which I'm really interested in games videos. Another one is Game Champ 3000, who did New Super Mario Bros. 2 no coins. Really fun videos like that. So Seed Gaming, I was finally like, I've beaten New Super Mario Bros. U in the past, but I never beat Luigi. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go play Mario. I'm gonna play Mario U again. I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna play Luigi U. I'm gonna beat it for the first time ever. Right? And that's exactly what I did. I played Mario U, and while Extra Life was going on, I beat all of Mario U, all 6 worlds, in like 5 hours. Or, 8 worlds. I think it's 8 worlds. Maybe it was 6 hours, because I had to go back and do the ocean world. But yeah, in like 6 hours, I beat Mario U. Super quick. Super freaking quick. I was like, well, okay, I guess I can start Luigi U. I just kind of watched Extra Life for a little bit, I'll admit. I didn't actually, instantly go into, I didn't instantly go from Mario U to Luigi U. I kind of relaxed and watched Extra Life. There was some good stuff this year. I missed a little bit of it, way early in the morning. I tried to stay up all 24 hours, but I'm exhausted from school recently. His college has been just draining. Which he usually doesn't. Usually I have problems right now. I have issues. But, so I beat Mario. Later on in the day, I started Luigi U. I did the first 3 worlds. I took a break. The next day, while Extra Life was going on in the morning, as everything was wrapping up, I started up Luigi U again. I did the jungle world, or I did the ice. I did the first world, the desert, and in Mario U, I did the ice world, and then went back to do the water world. In Luigi U, I did the opposite. I did the water world, and then went back to do the ice world. So I did the ice world and the jungle world, took a break. The next day, I came back, and I beat the game. I did the rock world, the cloud world, and the final world, the Peach's Castle. And yeah, Luigi U, And it overall took me like 6 to 7 hours. It took me a little longer than Mario U. Luigi U is a little harder, but the levels are also shorter, and I'd argue the game is a bit more refined. Like, it feels tighter, and I can appreciate the game for that. But yeah, it took me about 3 days, probably also about the same. I could actually check. I have the Wii U. Well, I don't have it plugged in right now at the moment because Switch outlet. But yeah, no, I played the 2 New Super Mario Brothers games. I'm glad I finally beat New Super Luigi U. And then I was like, well, okay, from here, I guess I go to New Super Mario Brothers and New Super Mario Brothers 2 on the DS and 3DS respectively. So I started up New Super Mario Brothers 2 while listening to one of my books, and I beat it like 20 minutes before the stream started. Because I've been listening to these books so much, I was listening to them right before the stream. Because when I'm not writing papers this week, I've been listening to book. Oh my god. What is it, Pokey? What is it, packages? Don't try to eat big fruit. Oh yes. Who's a good? Oh god, your breath smells like food. You made that? Yes, good. What is it, good boy? Are you a good boy? Yes, you're a good boy. Give me a minute, good boy. Be patient. Good things come to those who and are also good things. Good things come to those who wait and are also good things. Yeah, I'll get into it. I'm just... I don't want to be one of that asshole team, so I'm trying to, like, head on into Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. No. Oh, my gosh. Stop punching me in the face. Don't punch me in the face. Stop punching me in the face. If we lose this match, this is completely my fault, and I totally accept responsibility. Okay. If I'm just getting my ass kicked. One second. Yes, good. Good boy. Yeah, give me a second, good boy. Give me 50 seconds. Give me 50 seconds. Oh yeah, I beat New Super Mario Bros. 2. And I'm probably going to start New Super Mario Bros. DS like any day now. Probably not tomorrow. I'll probably wait until the weekend's over. Probably Monday I'll start it when I have other books to do. And that'll, again, probably also take me about the same amount of time. I think each game's taking me about 5 hours, give or take. Probably the DS ones take a little less, just because I'm not doing the other 2 bonus worlds. Okay, goodbye, Woofer. Yeah, that's the New Super Mario Bros. Games. That's just what I've been playing. And it's because of those 2 guys. Those 2 guys have got me interested in those games. Come here, Woofer. Come here. Who wants it, the pets? I'll give you all of the pets. You want pets? Come on. Yeah, we got our asses kicked. That's totally my fault. If you have a ball, do you want me to play with it or not? I'll play with it if you do. Come on. Come on. Okay, if you're not going to do... Oh, there's a communication error. I was going to say, we had not had a single communication error tonight. Well, I was going to say this when I took the break. Come here. I wonder if... Come here. Come here, give it. You see him? He's just barely off camera. Come here. Okay, if you're not gonna play, we're not gonna play. Don't just drop it at. Go get it. Go get it. Come on, you gotta give it to me. This is why I call him a bad boy. I want him to play and he won't play. He's a bad boy. And when I say bad boy, I mean it in like bad boy as in bad boy and bad boy as in like the cool kid kind of bad boy. You know, like the was it James Dean? Come on. I'm not gonna play with you unless you give it to me. Unless you don't want to play. I'm so tired right now. Oh my god. And we're about to go into Conspiracy Theory Central. Go get it. Okay, is that all you wanted to do? Okay. Okay, goodbye. Do you want to play more or not? I'm just gonna assume it's a no. Did I switched over to Pro, right? Let's get a freaking Splush-O-Matic. I needed to grab that for like a while now. Woofer, I tell you to play, and then you won't play with me, and now that you're working at me, he's a bad boy. I don't think and that's all I think I've been playing. I don't think I've been playing anything else. Because, and part of the reason for the Mario games is because while I was doing Link to the Past, I think I've talked about this. While I was doing Link to the Past on stream, I was playing Super Mario World off stream. And, like, that's, like, 4 Mario games I've beaten right there. I just need New Super Mario Brothers, the original 3 on NES. I've never beaten Super Mario Brothers 2 or 3. I'll fully admit that. I think the farthest I've never gotten that far in 2. 2 was just never my style of game. And 3, I think the farthest I've gotten is the Giant World? I think it's the Giant World. Yeah. I think that's the farthest I've ever gotten. I beat World for the first time this year. Because even though I had Super Mario Bros. Advanced on Game Boy Advanced, I never really got that far into it. And then Super Mario Land, which I need to find on Game Boy. I have it, I just don't know where it is. And Super Mario Land 2, a game I've never played. And then I think that's it. Oh, and I also put Yoshi's Island on the list just because. Because much like I've been doing my whole Zelda thing in 2018, I might as well just do a Mario thing as well, even if it's not in 2018 exclusively. Which the Zelda thing's also probably not going to be exclusively in 2018. I need to start working on Ocarina of Time again. I was up to, I think, the Spirit Temple in Ocarina, so I need to take another stab at that and finally beat the Spirit Temple. Beat the Spirit Temple and then beat the game. Because it's not too far. We're not too far in Wind Waker either. We've got Wind Waker, we're in the Triforce Shard hunt, and then I think that's the end of the game right after. We've got, like, the final diamond. So it's not that far at all. But yeah, that's Wind Waker. It's cool that I actually have, even though I technically don't have the time to do it, I'm so glad I did it today, because, again, we'll not, like I said, I'd love to finish off Wind Waker on the 30th, but we'll probably do it the first week of December, just because I won't be here next week. I think I've said that before. Yeah, I think that's all I've been playing. So that leads me into... We got 3 topics. Smash, the Game Awards, and Conspiracy Theory Time. The main topics of the show. Let's do my predictions for the Game Awards, sure. So the Game Awards were announced on Tuesday. We got all the nominees. So, for the most part, I do think there are good. There's only 1 or 2, I'd argue, that are missing. And we will get to it. But let's actually start from the very bottom and work our way up. So, Content Creator of the Year, Dr. Lupo, Myth, Pokemon, and Willy Rex. I think these are all Fortnite streamers, correct me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't know, but I'm pretty sure they're all Fortnite streamers, of which the only one I've heard of is Ninja, and the only one that is going to win is I can just put, that's like a, it's not 100%, but it's like a, it's big, is all I'm saying. Because it's Ninja, everybody's heard of Ninja. Best esports team, I have no stakes in this argument. The only one I have heard of is none of these. Or is this best esports moment? Just as biased, I'll go the Evo one, just because I'm biased towards Evo. Best esports host, I do have no rank. I have no bid in this argument, so much like I do with the Oscars, I just go ahead and win. Let's go with the Effie. I don't know how to pronounce that. Deporte. Let's go with the girl one, actually. Just why not? Why not? Best esports event. Of course, I'm biased towards Evo, so I'm gonna do Evo. I also heard the Evo one, the Overwatch stuff was good. Didn't really watch it. Best esports coach. I've never heard of any of these. Let's just do the Cloud9 kid. Best esports team. Never heard of any of these. Let's just go with the Cloud9 kid again, the only one I've kind of heard of. Esports player, no idea. I don't know any of these. Let's go with Dominic, Sonic, Fox, McLean, sure. Okay, now we're getting into games. Best esports game, it's going to be Fortnite. Fortnite's going to win it. It's either going to be Fortnite or Overwatch, I guarantee you that. Well, you know, yeah, let's go with Fortnite just because it's Fortnite. It's kind of the biggest game in the world right now. Fortnite's going to make it on this list a lot. I'm just going to say it like that. Best debut indie game, recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game this year. Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, or Yoka Island Express. I've heard of Donut County, of which I put some time into. Moss and The Messenger. I'm gonna say Donut County. Donut County was fun. It was a very charming game. It's kind of short, but it was charming. Best student game. Never heard of any of these. I should be writing this list down. Combat 2018, Dasher, Quasar, Jero, Life, Recharge. Let's go with Jero. Best multiplayer game, Fortnite. Again, it's very obvious. I laugh that Sea of Thieves are nominated. The nominations are Call of Duty, Destiny, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves. It's going to be Fortnite. Easy. Best sports / racing, FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis, NBA 2K19, Pro Evolution Soccer. And these are the games that are filled with the microtransactions and the bullshit. So I'm inherently biased against this category. But if I had to pick one, it's probably going to be the Forza Horizon. Even though I laugh my ass off at Mario's Tennis. That's funny. It's not a great game. Admittedly, it's more of a fighting game than it is a tennis game. That's, if I had to pick one, yeah, sure, Mario, Forza. A strategy game, probably Into the Breach. I've heard of the Curia. I've never heard of, I've never heard of Constable. Banner Saga, I've heard of. But let's just do Into the Breach. Into the Breach is the one I know the most about. Best family game, Mario Tennis, Aces, Nintendo Labo. Overcooked 2, and 2 others that I haven't read yet. You know, whatever they are, I can tell you it's going to be Overcooked. Overcooked, well, I think Overcooked is a great multiplayer game. My problem with it, as I've said before, is, the difficulty, like how many stars you needed in the first game to complete it. But I heard that was a problem they fixed in the sequel, so let's give it to Overcooked 2. The other 2 are, Starlink Battle for Atlas and Super Mario Party, which is fine, but it's an NDQ Mario Party game. No thank you. Best fighting game, Blue Blaze Cross, whatever, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Soul Calibur, the Street Fighter V Arcade, and yeah, that's it. I know some people say, where's Smash? Smash is not going to be nominated this year because, again, cutoff date, but it will be nominated next year, and I guarantee you it's going to be next year. But for the moment, the only 2 I've really seen anything about are Soul Calibur 6, which I've literally never actually seen gameplay of, just the character creator, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, so I think it's going to be Dragon Ball FighterZ. Best role-playing game. This gets into the controversy. The nominees are Dragon Quest XI, Ni no Kuni, Ni no Kuni 2, Monster Hunter World, and other games. I'm trying to play, but I'm also trying not to die, so I can, because I take that second to pause to look at the list. Octopath Traveler and Pillars of Eternity. As everyone has pointed out, the big missing link here is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out the day before or the day after the Game Awards last year. And a lot of people are like, oh, that doesn't, it didn't get represented this year. Does it even qualify? Someone like RPG something or other may have said like it was past the cutoff date. From what I've been told, from what I watched, because Kinda Funny is one of the groups that votes on the nominees. What they said is that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was in the voting pool for Best RPG. They chose it, just not enough other people did. That's why it's not on here. I still think it sucks. Like, I would have much rather had Xenoblade Chronicles than Ni no Kuni 2, if we talk about that one. The joke is I'm comically biased against Ni no Kuni 2, because who cares, it's Ni no Kuni 2. Yeah, no, I would have much rather had Xenoblade, and this is, I haven't even put 10 hours into Xenoblade, but yet, it still should have been on here. It lost its chance last year. It should have gotten it this year. It really should have. It deserves it. It sucks. At least it was actually given a chance to run for nominee, which a lot of people don't think it did, but it was given an actual chance. What drives me crazy is Jeff Keighley put out a tweet that's like, it's overall positive, that we didn't make a single mistake, right? That's the general feedback. Because he put out a tweet like, is there anything we screwed up on? And everyone said Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, maybe I don't think it's just the circles I follow in, because I read a bunch of responses, and they were all about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There was like maybe 2 exceptions. And we'll get to the 2 other things I think they skipped out on. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 should have been on here. I completely agree. But just saying like, oh, we nailed it this year, we got everything perfect. No, never say that. Even though I do think he is partially right. I think his choosing this year is pretty great. There's a lot of great stuff in here. I think the overall nominees are great, but this is the one, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got skipped over twice. And I do think it's partially because it came out last year. And a lot of these big sites like IGN won't play it because it's a year old. Oh, we want to focus on Dragon Quest XI and Octopath. They're going to skip over Xenoblade. That's what sucks. Really, that is what sucks. From that nominee, it's either going to be Dragon Quest XI or Octopath Traveler. Personally, I'd want Octopath, but if it's Dragon Quest, I'm not going to complain too much. I mean, it's the biggest franchise in Japan. It legally cannot come out on a Friday, which I find hilarious. Why won't you come in at the end of the games in Brooklyn? You always come out at the very beginning. Next up, we have Best Action Adventure, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's... for specifically for action adventure, I'd say probably God of War. Probably... God of War screams action adventure. So that's why I'd say that one. Best action game, Call of Duty, Dead Cells, Destiny, Far Cry 5, and there's another one. Mega Man 11. I jokingly say Mega Man 11, but it's not. I have my problems with Mega Man 11, even as an action game, even as a joke. It's probably gonna go to like Far Cry. Personally, I'm gonna personally I'd want Dead Cells. Dead Cells has the most like compelling to me. And Mega Man 11 I'd also be fine with. But again, I mostly say that as a joke. Best VR, Astrobot, Beat Saber, Firewall Zero, Moss, Tetris Effect. I've actually heard of most of these. I've probably seen the most from Beat Saber, admittedly. But I heard Moss was good, and I also heard... I don't think Tetris Effect has it, just because it's a Tetris game. So, you know, I guess I'd say... I kind of want to give it to the Beat Saber. No, it's not my style of game, but I think it'd be a fine choice on there. Yeah, let's give it to the freaking Moss. Let's give it to the Beat Saber. Why not? Why not? Best mobile game, Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG, Rain. I'd be annoyed if PUBG or Fortnite take this. Well, yeah, it is kind of impressive that they got PUBG, Fortnite and PUBG running on mobile. No, that annoys me. I'm gonna give it a game to Donut County. At least it's something interesting. It's original, right? I'd much rather have Donut County take it than anything else. Just because, again, well, it's not a perfect game. I enjoyed Donut County. It was kind of fun. It was charming. And I've never... Rain, Game of Thrones. Is that like the swiping left and right game? Is that Rain's? And then... Florence, I've never heard of it. Could be good. Best independent game, Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. This, again, these are all great choices. I've never heard of The Return of Obra Dinn. I've seen the art style is interesting, but I don't actually know anything about it. The Messenger, and I also didn't. It was okay. It was okay. But Into the Breach, Celeste, and Dead Cells, all great choices. It's gonna be a tight race between Dead Cells and Celeste. Personally, Celeste though. Celeste is definitely, yeah. Especially because it got nominated for Game of the Year and Dead Cells didn't. Games for Impact, 1111, Memories Retold, Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange, 2 Episode 1, and The Missing J.J. McClave's The Island of Memories. Don't know about Florence. The only game I know are Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, which is crazy that it's just Episode 1. I'd wait for the whole game to be out to do it for something like this. And just treat it all as one package. Or Celeste. Celeste actually, like, I played Celeste and it spoke to me. Yeah, no, there's a great moment for anyone who's played it. There's tons of great moments. I mean, the one I was thinking of specifically was like the tram or the jungle down below. Those are both great ones without spoiling anything. But it's definitely Celeste. Best performance, Brian Deckard, Christopher Judge, Mesalatha Mahout, I don't know, Cassandra in Assassin's Creed, Roger Clark, and Yuri Lothano. Brian Deckard, definitely Brian. I've seen some video of Detroit Become Human, and yeah, he stands out. He gives a great performance. He's the best part of that game, really. I mean, most of it's just David Cage bullshit, but Brian Deckard definitely. I think out of everyone, he has the most. He has the best in it. Best audio design presented by Dolby. I'm snarky with that, but I think it's fine for them to get sponsors to do shit like this. Call of Duty, Forza, God of War, Marvel, Spider-Man, and Red Dead. I think Red Dead. I think Red Dead, because Red Dead did like the Breath of the Wild thing, I presume, where it had like where it focused on like environmental more than it would music. But I've also heard Spider-Man kind of did that as well. At least I'm assuming that of Red Dead. Again, I haven't played any of Red Dead. I guess my brother bought it. I don't even know. I could have. I need to go back and play the original Red Dead. I have the Xbox 360 just sitting in the box. I'll do that first before I go put it in. I guess I give it to Spider-Man. Just, I kind of, from what I've seen of it, yeah, Spider-Man probably does it fine. So let's give it to Spider-Man. Sure. Best score: Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption. This is the other one that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 deserved. Again, I've only put a few hours into it. But I have heard some of the music from like videos and whatnot. People use it as background music. It's an amazing soundtrack. The original Xenoblade Chronicles had a great soundtrack. X is very hit and miss for people, and I totally get that. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 also had a great soundtrack. It deserved to have been nominated for this as well. This is the other one. Honestly, this one kind of cuts me more than Best RPG. Because this is the one I didn't really care whether or not it... Because again, with a lot of these things, I feel like a nomination is a lot. Like, I'll be saying that a lot about Celeste, even if it doesn't win. Hey, a nomination is big. We'll get to that. But, Xenoblade deserved Best Soundtrack. It was great. Personally, I'd give it to Celeste. Celeste is the only soundtrack I actually remember from this year. And again, I haven't played a lot of these games, but Celeste still stands out in my mind. It was a strong soundtrack. I'd probably also give it to Delta Run. I still need to play Delta Run. I mean, I trust Toby Fox because, God, Undertale is still the best soundtrack in gaming, in my personal opinion. Like, I love some stuff, but God, Undertale was just so eclectic. It was so good. I loved Undertale soundtrack, man. But I bet Delta Runs is fine. Best art direction: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead, Return of Obra Dinn. I think this is a fight between God of War, which is like which is basically like the representation for realistic graphics, versus Octopath and Obra Dinn. Assassin's Creed, I don't think has a chance in this because, yeah, no. And Red Dead, I just don't know enough about. But I heard God of War looked amazing. Octopath Traveler had a great style. And Obra Dinn has like a Game Boy-ish style. You have to look at it, but it looks good. I think Obra Dinn has a chance. Personally, I love Octopath's sprites with all the lighters and whatnot. I think that looks great. Did we win a 10x battle in a row? I wasn't even paying enough attention to notice that. I think God of War is going to win it, but personally I'd give it to Octopath Traveler. I loved Octopath Traveler's style. Best narrative: Detroit Become Human. Funny. God of War, Life is Strange, Spider-Man, or Red Dead. God of War. God of War, easy. Ooh, go for it. You can hear them. You can hear her sliding on the tile, running to the door. I think God of War has that one. Again, I don't own a PS4, and a lot of games this year are PS4 and Red Dead, so yeah. Again, most of the stuff I played are indie games, Messenger, Into the Breach. Well, okay, I haven't played Into the Breach. I've watched some videos on it. It looks fine. I should buy it. Dead Cells. Again, I haven't played it, because again, I'm not a big fan of Metroidvania. I've heard great things about it, and there was the whole controversy that made it even more popular. Best game direction: A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead. It's going to be one of those last three: God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead. I find it funny that A Way Out's nominated, because that was my favorite moment of the Game Awards last year, was the guy saying "fuck the Oscars." Great moment. But it's definitely going to be one of it's definitely going to be one of those three moments. It's definitely going to be one of those bottom three. Because A Way Out, that's funny. David Cage's cool. So it's going to be best direction, standing creative vision. You know, I could see, even though I have my problems with Red Dead Redemption's realism, it definitely has scope to it. So I'm gonna say Red Dead Redemption. Best ongoing game, Destiny 2, Fortnite, No Man's Skies, Overwatch. Rainbow Six Siege is gonna go to Fortnite. This is the only other thing I feel like they screwed up. And this is very personal preference. Splatoon 2 should have been nominated. It's had amazing support over the past year. Tons of good free content. I mean, literally, they just released new weapons like 2 weeks ago. And while, yeah, I don't think they're releasing any new maps. I think the map we're playing on right now was the last new map. I think they've remodeled some maps. If they have, I have not played on any of the remodeled maps. We get a Splatfest once a month. I think it's a great ongoing game. I hope, at least like when people were picking the categories, at least I hope it was one of them that could be picked from. Because it deserves it, in theory. There's lots of great things about Splatoon 2. I mean, I come back to it every month at minimum, sometimes even more. But it's gonna be Fortnite. Of course it's gonna be Fortnite. And then finally, Game of the Year. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter, and Red Dead Redemption 2. All great. With the exception of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's just personal bias. I think, well, you know, and I don't hate it. I heard it's a fine game. I just cannot get past microtransactions. I think it's very eclectic. It's got a little bit of everything. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, again, Monster Hunter World's an RPG. Celeste is an indie game and a platformer. Great eclectic selection. I could see any of them winning it, except for Monster Hunter World and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think it's going to be a close race between Red Dead, Spider-Man, God of War, and Celeste. Personally, though, again, I haven't played God of War, I haven't played Spider-Man, and I haven't played Red Dead. Of course, it's going to be Celeste. Celeste is an amazing game. It truly is. I reviewed it earlier this year. I love it so much. It's got so many great things about it. I highly recommend it. And while I will be giving my Game of the Year list in January, so a month after the Game Awards, I can tell you right now Celeste is going to be on that list. How high? We'll see. But Celeste is definitely going to be on it, and out of everything here, it's definitely my choice. It's my vote. God of War, I think God of War also, if I had to pick other than that, of the three I haven't played, I know Red Dead Redemption has a lot of hype behind it, and there is that proximity bias, but I've heard tons of problems about it. While I've heard Spider-Man's a great game, I've also heard it has problems, and while I haven't watched Joseph Anderson's video, I think God of War has the best chance. Right, like, it has the most positive. I heard people talking the most positively about it. And while, yeah, Red Dead Redemption is the second highest rated game of all time, or something like that, and the highest rated game in this generation, honestly, half of what people say about it has just been negative. I just hear people complain about it. And not like the standard backlash, right? You know, like, when something gets popular, it gets bullshit backlash. That always happens. Look at what's happening with Pokemon Let's Go. Like, legitimate problems and complaints. It's still a great game, but I have heard it has problems. Like, some pretty significant ones for some people. Again, it depends on your tolerance for stupid stuff and real life stuff. You know what I heard was stupid? I guess the Spyro Insane trilogy has like a crazy amount of motion blur. That sucks, man. I don't know why we put motion blur in there. Motion blur has no good game has ever had motion. I mean, well, yeah, I mean Uncharted 4 did, but I mean, we took that out. Right, motion blur is just not a good idea. I understand that's how real cameras work, real stuff, but no, in a game, motion blur is completely unnecessary. But those are all my predictions for the Game Awards. I should probably write those down so that way when we do Smash and Chat at the beginning of next month, I can actually see how much I got right. Much like I do for the Oscars. I'll probably do that in the spreadsheet later on today. Or probably right after this. Okay, I need sleep. Yeah, that's yeah, that's my Game Awards. I do find fun in the Game Awards, and I do give it credit. Because something that I like about award show, like what the Game Awards is doing, is when they're willing to give an award to an indie game, right? It's like whenever the Oscar nominates an animated movie, like they did with Beauty and the Beast or Up. It's always just a cool thing to do. They don't always do it, rarely. But I do feel like indie games do deserve as much credit as the big AAA, if not more. Again, I think Celeste is... Oh my god, Celeste... I don't think Hollow Knight was nominated last year for Game of the Year or anything, but it should have been. It definitely should have been. But I'll give them credit for that, and I feel like there should be at least one indie game nominated for Game of the Year every year. Right? Because there's usually always one that's on par, if not better, than most AAA stuff. Because I guarantee you Celeste is better than, like I said, Odyssey and again, a lot of that goes up to, like, pick the player kind of thing. Like, I know someone, like, I personally would get nothing out of, Monster Hunter World. It's just not my style of game. I don't like RPGs, with the exception of the Dragon Quest game, the Xenoblade series, which, again, I cannot finish any of them except for the first one, and the only reason I finished the first one was Checker Conroy. And there's, like, oh, and Pokemon, obviously. Duh. Oh, yeah, yeah. What made that circular? You see those, like, dots over there? It's a bunch of, like, individual circles. What made that? I have no idea. Yeah, that's all my Game Awards stuff. It's December 6th, day before Smash Bros. Man, and you know Reggie's gonna be there. I wonder if we're gonna get Smash Bros. Stuff, Metroid stuff. Oh my god, the possibilities, man. So cool, so cool. Last off, we have, okay, I still got Smash Bros. We'll end off with Smash Bros. As we always do. Oh my god, we're almost at Champion. Wow, this is going really well. I want to talk about my conspiracy theories. So, the Xbox, this all started with, well, I mean, we know, so this is all about the next generation of consoles. We know the next generation of consoles is coming, sooner rather than later. But what's going on? So we have on the Sony's front, they have talked about how a PS5 is in development, and Microsoft does have Project Scarlet and their whole streaming service, right? This is all coming. Microsoft is testing their streaming service next year, which may be the same thing as Project Scarlet. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's different things. But we know a next generation is coming. My whole conspiracy thing kicks off with XO18. Well, actually, it technically kicks off with PSX. So PSX 2018 just didn't happen. So just keep that in mind. Right? Sony said it didn't happen because they didn't have enough to show or enough interesting things to show, right? Spider-Man was already out, and they weren't going to show, like, just Days Gone, right? Because people would complain, where's the big stuff? When, again, we'll keep that in mind. This all kind of compounds onto itself eventually. But XO18 happens, and I'm not going to go over it. The only thing notable for me are the acquisition of In Exile, a studio I've never heard of, and Obsidian. That made Fallout New Vegas, one of a game that I don't think was liked at the time, but has since become like the greatest Fallout game for a lot of people. Well, Again, excluding like the originals. So yeah, those two. But we kind of knew Obsidian was coming, and Exile was kind of random. And then that happened. They also talked about Game Pass, which they hinted at the new Ori and the Window Bimble, which does seem again. I did not care for Ori and the Blind Forest. It just, again, I'm not really the biggest fan of Metroidvanias, but since I beat Hollow Knight earlier this month, I need to give Ori and the Blind Forest a second chance. Right, Ori Pudding and Pie. Yeah, I may like it better the second time. I remember liking the Jinzo Tree like everybody, but I don't actually remember anything else good from it. So I will be giving Ori Pudding and Pie another chance. And then when Ori 2 Wimble Bimble comes out next year, I probably will try that one as well. Maybe, we'll see. But that's on Game Pass. So, right, but nothing happened at Exo. They didn't have anything to show, which brought up the idea of, what if they don't have anything to show because they're saving everything, not just for E3, but for the next generation of Xbox? What if a lot of these games don't have release dates or anything because they're next generation games, right? We don't know about some of these games because we don't know about the hardware yet. Which I do think is a real thing, because there was just nothing new shown. Now, I didn't hear all the hype train that some people did. I guess in some places they were building this up as like, is that what that circular thing is? Is it that way? Okay, that's interesting. But I guess in some circles they were building stuff as like not on par with E3, but like a mini E3 or something, which got people's hype too high. But the idea of them saving stuff, right, or not saving stuff, but just there's nothing to announce because we're getting the next generation of Xbox, I think that's very likely. And that's where this all started with XO18. Then Sony, so the PS5, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, is 5 years old. The console is now 5 years old. And with that, it was discovered that Sony will not be holding an E3 conference next year. The reaction to this has been kind of all over the place. Most of what I've seen is negative. But if Sony is going to try to, like, they're not going to do anything around E3, but if they want to start holding their own events, do their own Nintendo Directs, all of what Nintendo does, I think that's a great thing. Nintendo Directs are great, and I think Sony could really profit from this. Nintendo's picked up on a good idea, and Sony loves to copy Nintendo, so if they want to do Nintendo Directs, let Sony do Nintendo Directs. But just, it's been very vague, and we're probably not going to find out anything anytime soon about it, which complicates things even more. Yeah, again, it could work. I'm also kind of also in theory against it. It's complicated. But it leads to credence. What if the PS5 gets announced next year at Sony's own conference? Because again, Nintendo, because of these Nintendo Directs, Nintendo doesn't have to hold all of their special announcements for E3. They were able to announce Smash Bros. At just some random Direct. That's the power of the Nintendo Direct. And if Sony wants to do that and just... Because I think the PS4 was announced in like February of 2013, I think? It was either 2012 or 2013. No, it was... The Wii U came out in 2012, so it was 2013. The PS3 was announced in February. The Xbone was announced a few months later. What if, right? What if they're just going to get a PS5 announcement, and then by the end of the year, we will have it? Because I think the turnaround has to be fast. Is this the remodel? This map got remodeled, and I have not seen it. Oh shit, this is interesting. But that's the second piece of evidence that I do think actually favors a PS5. Yeah, no, oh my god, this map has been remodeled. They've remodeled, I think they've remodeled 2 maps, of which I've never actually, I don't think I've seen the other remodel. Yeah, so that's the second piece of evidence. Of course, there are still people, I don't know if it's Michael Pachter, but one of these analysts was talking about it, and he still says that the PS5 and Xbox One will not be until 2020, Project Scarlet won't be until 2020. So that's a point against it. Another thing that came up today was that, oh god, give me a second. Microsoft is looking into releasing a discless Xbox One X next year. If they're releasing a new iteration of the Xbox One X, then what's the point in releasing a new console next year? Again, even though I still stand by, the past 2 years of Xbox on the first party front are even worse than the Wii U's last 2 years. I mean, at least the Wii U had a game or two coming out in its last 2 years. The Xbox has had, what, 2 games in 2017? It had, what? The only 2 games it's had this year are Sea of Thieves and I know there's probably a second one. Last year, the only games it had was Cuphead and Halo Wars 2. Yeah, no, the Xbox isn't having a good year for exclusives. Which is funny because as a console itself, the Xbox One X is the most powerful console currently on the market. Right? It is the most powerful, but it just has no games to show for it. And Microsoft has been buying up all these studios. They definitely are thinking in the long game. But of course the question is, they bought up all the studios, if they were to release an Xbox 2, which is, let's just call it that for a moment, would it have enough stuff to be ready next year? Would these studios, has Microsoft been saving stuff for the Xbox 2? Will it, right? That's a big concern. Because I don't want like any console, even though I shit on Xbox and I'll occasionally shit on Sony. Okay, I shit on Xbox constantly. I don't want them to fail, right? I think competition is healthy for the industry. People thought at the end of the last generation, right after the 360 and PS3, that the console was just down. That everything, people were only going to play on PC. And it was clearly wrong, right? The PS4 is doing great. It was clearly a foolish idea, but that's what people thought. Or at least that's what AAA studio heads, like the head of like Activision Blizzard thought, and the head of EA, that people were only playing PC. And even though their employees told them they were wrong, they didn't listen. That's why the beginning of this generation was kind of slow. Ugh. God. And then, okay, so, right, and so they may not have enough stuff ready, so they may spill another year, but it's bad for Xbox. Sony only has, well, do we know, Ghost of Tsushima, is that exclusive? Because most of what Microsoft showed at E3 this year is not exclusive, like a majority of it isn't. Oh, we also saw a little bit more of Tunic at XO18, it still looks great. But yeah, no, most of Microsoft, I don't know if Ghost of Tsushima is, and that's the only other thing I can think of. Oh, and Last of Us 2. Right, Sony doesn't have that much stuff, of course, unless they're building up a next generation. Which leads me, did I already talk? So, right, so Sony, we found out, Sony's not coming to E3. This, did I already say that? God, I'm losing my mind. But this creates an ample opportunity for Xbox to announce their next console, release it by the end of the year, and just completely take advantage of E3. Yeah, I know I did talk about how Sony's not going. And take advantage of Sony not being there. I mean, they've already been they made a tweet about it already on the Xbox Twitter. But they can seriously take advantage of this. This practically gives them the main... them and Nintendo now have more staying power at E3. I mean... Which, this is also bad for E3, because if, let's say, can Sony ever come back to E3? Because I bet this is wrong, but wasn't the original PlayStation 24 years ago, wasn't it announced at the original E3? Was it? I swear it was. I swear, like, the original PlayStation was announced at E3, or maybe it was shown. If it wasn't announced, it was definitely shown at the first E3. Because I swear Sony's been to all of them, and now they're skipping off for the first time. I don't think Xbox has ever skipped one, and even though we make fun of Nintendo for, God, what it did with Breath of the Wild, which actually in hindsight turned out fine. At the time, it was a terrible idea. It seemed like it anyways. But Nintendo, I don't think, has actually ever skipped an E3 either, even though God, they should in some cases, because really, look back at, like, E3s, especially, like, 2008 and prior, they were more about business than they were about the games. And again, people argue, is E3 less relevant? Again, I'm thinking of Kind of Funny Games Cast. They were talking about how, oh, anyone can, right? You can have people just walk around Twitch streaming the show floor, right? That makes E3 more relevant. And I'm like, they say that, but does it really? When you can just deliver that message to your consumer at any point? I think E3 may be more relevant than ever, but it also could totally not be. I could see arguments both ways. How did people get up there? I've seen people up there once or twice. Oh, is it that geyser? It's that geyser, isn't it? I've never used that geyser before. So it's complicated. So that complicates things. The other thing that was the Xbox releasing a version without a disk drive makes the chances of an Xbox 2 less likely. I could see it going either way. Honestly, with all the information, again, this is all conspiracy theory stuff. Personally, I think it might, just because of the lack of games we're seeing, especially from Xbox, I think the Xbox 2 is next year. Sony, on the other hand, they may want to take a step back. What also complicates things is that we had a mid-generation refresh, which was just 2 years ago. That definitely complicates things on whether or not whether or not we're ready for a new generation, whether or not we're going to take this out another year. A very slow year, because, I mean, we've seen consoles have slow years before. Again, go to any console's generation's end of its lifespan. The end of the year tends to be slower, and they could end off on a bang with The Last of Us. But it's just so weird. Sony canceling all their shows. Is this Sony being cocky? We've seen Sony be cocky and make stupid decisions before. The primary example is always the PS3's $500 price point, and the whole get a second job. That was a terrible... Oh my god, we lost. They have way too much in our... Holy shit, really? They just have so much in our area. But no, we've seen Sony be cocky before. In recent years, we've seen a pattern with games, right? We see someone get cocky. They're like, oh, we're doing great. We're doing right. We can just be cocky. We can ride this. And then they fall. And then now that they've fallen, they get desperate and they do better. Nintendo, they were desperate with the GameCube. They did great. So they got innovative, right? They got risky with the Wii. It did amazing. They got cocky. They got stupid. And they made the Wii U, which made them desperate. And then we got the Switch. The PS2 did great. They say it's the best-selling console of all time. I don't like that, just because I still think the DS has sold more than the PS2, and while it's not a physical console, it's still a portable console. It's a portable console. The DS is the best-selling console of all time. I don't care what people say. And I think it's bullshit that Tetris is the best-selling game of all time. That's just a blatant lie. It's Minecraft. Let's be real here. But, the PS2, right, Sony was cocky, so they made the PS3. They messed up. They made it too expensive. And it sucked. And I think it eventually kind of caught up in sales. But, right, they got kind of desperate, so they made the PS4, and the PS4 did great. And then Xbox got cocky with the Xbox 360, which did great again. Neither of them did as well as the Wii U. The Wii U did freaking amazing. That's complicated in itself. So now I was like, okay, right? They did no matter what you do, I don't know if... I know we make fun of Nintendo's 2008 E3 performance, the one with Wii Music, but I don't know if the performance would ever be as bad as the X-Plane. That was just so bad. And now we see, right, the X-Plane didn't do that well. So we've seen Nintendo, we've seen Xbox get not desperate, but right, they're having to be more innovative. They're thinking in the long game now with the Xbox, buying all these studios that they're hopefully not going to kill the same way they did. Please don't kill them. Ninja Theory is still young, but they still have so much potential. I think it's Ninja Theory. Whoever did the Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. They have so much potential. Please don't kill them after one game. Because Microsoft killed Rare. Let's be real here. Microsoft most definitely killed Rare. None of... And like even Sea of Thieves Rare, that's not the Rare that made Banjo-Kazooie. Let's be real. It's a completely different team now. And again, the team that did Banjo-Kazooie, I need to play Banjo too. Again, that's another thing with the N64 Classic. They're going to have to port Microsoft because Microsoft's not desperate. I keep using desperate. And while I do think Wii U era Nintendo was definitely desperate, I don't know if current era Microsoft is desperate. Because, I mean, it's doing okay. It's definitely not doing as bad as the Wii U, but it's still, even though the games line up, at least first party wise, worse. Yeah, I think there's a chance to see an Xbox or an Xbox 2 next year. PS5 seems less like the biggest thing is that discless console. That could change everything. But the PS5 is less likely, or you know, actually, you know, they're both. I'd say it's up to the flip of a coin, honestly. It could go either way. There's evidence supporting them both ways. I think it's a fine idea to start porting the next generation of consoles immediately. Because yeah, a generation ends whether you like it or not. And I've also talked about my theory in the past about how Xbox may go from being a console manufacturer to being a PC manufacturer, right? Because I mean, Greg Miller, so again, kind of funny. He's been talking about this idea of like, even though the Xbox whatever will be a new generation, it will still, like, they may make it so that new Xbox games, let's call it the Xbox 2, will still be playable on the Xbox One, just in a lower quality. I think that's a bad idea if you're making a console, but if you're making a PC, yeah, no, that's kind of what you'd expect. And I've talked about this before. I mean, Xbox, also at the XO18, they announced the Xbox is getting keyboard support. If it gets keyboard support, again, that's putting it one step closer to a PC. Just give it Steam, right? Make every Xbox come with Xbox 2, come with a keyboard, mouse, and an Xbox controller, right? Give it the ability to run Steam. Make it a PC in the same way as like an Alienware or something like that, where it can just run. It's a PC, but it's a gamer. It's an affordable gamer's PC, because again, the Xbone X is the best quality console on the market. It's better than the PS4 Pro, and I mean the Switch is a portable, so I don't expect it to be highest quality in the world or anything. But yeah, that's my whole conspiracy theory. It's complicated, and it could go either way. But the next generation of consoles is coming whether we like it or not. I mean, I've said this before. I think the Switch is a 9th generation console. We're already in it, and the Switch is our 9th generation. It's our, much like how the Wii U hit out a year before the other two. Switch is definitely our 9th generation, and it's already started. It's portable, so of course it's not going to be as powerful. But yeah, no, we're already getting there, man. It's coming. It's coming. Sony XMA. I feel like there was one other thing that was a piece of evidence. I don't remember. Also, Microsoft needs to step up their game. I keep talking about first party. You buy all the studios. First part, but like Sea of Thieves had microtransactions. First party games should not have microtransactions because they're first party, right? Games pay to play. A game you pay money for should never have microtransactions in the first place. But Sea of Thieves, a first party game is, I mean, I'm mad at it all, but Sea of Thieves is maybe one of the worst just because it's a first party game. And also had no freaking content whatsoever. I know they announced like an arena mode or something like that. Who gives a shit? Sea of Thieves is already... And you know, it's funny, because there are a bunch of good YouTube videos I saw on Sea of Thieves. Like, there were some really... People did... Again, I'll point back to Achievement Hunter. There's that one video of the guy where he, like, looks to the left and boom, all of a sudden a boat's whamming him. That one was pretty funny. Some good YouTube comment was made in Sea of Thieves, which, again, brings into the zeitgeist of when making a game, should how it's played on YouTube come into effect? Right? Is that an important factor nowadays? I know there are some people who will definitely say yes. But yes, how we play a game on YouTube is definitely affects it. Personally, it's complicated. Again, Fallout 76 is another great example. How people playing that on YouTube is going to be a big deal. And people definitely do take that into account. Personally, it's not. I mean, yeah, well, it was for Sea of Thieves, but for most of the others, not really. Well, I mean, I will end up watching Achievement. Oh, God. Okay, last thing on here is, as always, Smash Bros. Yeah, we lost this. We must have lost this one. They had too much of our base taken. Smash Bros. Comes out 21 days from today. That's insane. And next week is Thanksgiving, so I and many others will be preoccupied. The week after that... I thought we lost points there for a second. I don't know, is there anything big the week after that? And then I think the game comes out the following week. It's 3 weeks away. That's crazy. And of course, we'll be right here, Smash and Chat number. It's going to be called, I'm just going to tell you right now, I purposefully, even though the series is called Splat and Chat, on all the playlists, on all my like documents and whatnot, the series is specifically labeled In Chat. So Smash and Chat number 1 is actually going to be In Chat number 11, and as such, it will be called In Chat number. It will be called Smash and Chat number 11, even though it's the first one. I'm just making that clear. The playlist, it'll all make sense in the play. It'll all just come one after another in the playlist, because of course it will. I'm just clarifying that right now. And I don't know if Splat and Chat will even be that great. Smash and Chat. I mean, I already struggled with Splatoon. I mean, I completely forgot if I had talked about PlayStation not coming to E3. Which, it's not coming to E3. I think I talked about... I know I did. I know I must have at some point. I'm losing my mind. Oh, hey, this man. Yeah, it comes out, and the thing, of course, the last topic, because we know everything about the game more or less now. It looks great, it's going to be a great game, we all know it is. The last topic to talk about is the DLC. We're getting 5 DLC, potentially more, even though, again, that's thinking a little too far ahead for my liking. We'll get to that bridge when we do. But we know we're getting 5 DLCs, so I want to talk about the potential DLC. The first character is, there's going to be a third-party character. I think there are three options. The first option is, Banjo-Kazooie. If Nintendo is able to work together with Microsoft, and again, I mean, yeah, there was the rumored Banjo-Kazooie remake, which they may still do anyways, just because it's a great idea, especially with the success of the Spyro trilogy, which may or may not be overshadowed right now by Pokemon and other games. And what's the other one? There's the Spyro trilogy, and there's the, we're getting a remake of Medieval. We're basically just remaking a lot of 5th generation games. But yeah, we're remaking a lot of like PS1 and PS1 and I guess Sega Saturn games. I mean, there was a re-release of Rappa at some point last year, a re-release of Symphony of the Night. That's just something we're doing at the moment right now, which I do think is actually pretty good. So I can totally see a remake of Banjo-Kazooie, especially Banjo 2. Banjo 2 is definitely... Oh, I'm totally fine with Banjo 2. But I can see that happening, and putting Banjo in Smash would be a great way to promote that. It really would be. What else? There's the other big one is the other PS1 remake, Spyro and Crash. I mean, I don't think Activision doesn't have a character in Smash. Spyro and Crash would be great characters. And because if you get one, you get the other, right? I think they're both Activision. Owned. And yeah, they're both. I think they both fit, again, much like Banjo-Kazooie, they both fit great. I could totally see Nintendo working with Activision. The Spyro trilogy didn't come out on Switch. It will eventually, we all know it is. But, I'm assuming the reason it didn't, because again, it was still in development when Switch kits came out, so they only started porting it a ways in. Unlike Crash, which was already done, so they could port it afterwards, or however the hell that works. But I think if they were to release Spyro for Smash the same day as like the Reignited trilogy, or like before it, or like announce it at the same time or something, I think that would be great. That would build up a lot of hype for it, and then just announce Crash as well, because Crash is a big icon. Maybe no. That's my. There's definitely going to be some sort of third-party character. I guarantee you that. God, I have no idea how people get to level like 99. Oh my god, that must take forever. There's going to be some type of Gen 8 Pokemon. Whether it's... We're going to get Gen 8 next year. It's coming sooner rather than later. Right? Again, we talked about this earlier. It's definitely going to have some sort of representation. My hope is it's a water type. We need... Or is it one? No, I mean it's a grass type. We've got Charizard. We've got Greninja. We've got Mewtwo's a Psychic. Lucario's a Ghost, Steel. And while we do have Ivysaur and Bulbasaur, or Ivysaur and Squirtle, I'm not gonna... Yeah, no. And then there's... Oh, when we have Incineroar, we have 2 fire types. We need a grass type. I thought Decidueye would have been a great pick, but that didn't happen. So I hope we get a grass type from Gen 8. That'll probably be the last DLC character. Or maybe it'll come out around the same time as Gen 8. Because as part of this, a big thing for the DLC is the DLC characters have been chosen, and Nintendo is choosing them. Right? Nintendo said they're the one. Sakurai said Nintendo's choosing him, so stop bothering him. Seriously, stop bothering him. Don't be an asshole. God, he needs to rest. We need to let him rest after this. Give him the endless sabbatical. But I do that's a super obvious one that I feel like would be a great choice. I think this is the first Booyah Ball I've seen tonight. At least I paid attention. Another one that I could definitely see as a Nintendo pick from a series that is having a game next year. Well, and I mean that's kind of what Isabelle also fulfills. Because Isabelle while she represents New Leaf, she also represents Animal Crossing 2019. Assuming it's coming out in 2019. Probably. Again, my hope is still May. We're probably going to have a new Fire Emblem. I know people hate Fire... We're so sick of Fire Emblem fighters. Suck it, in my opinion. Fire Emblem... From what I've been told, Fire Emblem is like Nintendo's 3rd biggest franchise in Japan. It's our Metroid, right? Metroid is Nintendo's 3rd biggest in America. Fire Emblem is their 3rd biggest in Japan. So that's the reason why there's so many Fire Emblem characters, and I don't have a problem with it. And I feel like a majority of people's problem with all the Fire Emblem characters stems from the fact that, like, they're all sword fighters. Even though, again, Robin's a magic user and Corrin's a dragon. They're different, they're not sword fighters. Anyone who clumps them all as just sword fighters is missing. It's just wrong. but I do think we're going to get a character from the new Fire Emblem game. It makes sense, right? Because Fire Emblem, I mean, in the West, Fire Emblem, or Smash promotes Fire Emblem. Plus, we've got, I think Corn and Robin are both great characters. I know a lot of people have problems with Corn and her / game, and that's, okay, yeah, sure, I totally get that one. But I think, like, character design and moveset-wise, I think they're both great characters, even if Robin is a bit on the slow side in 4. I think Corn was perfectly fine. I think Corn worked great. But the character that I and many other people are rooting for is Edelgard. She's a female axe user. We've seen her in the trailer for, I think it's called 3 Houses, which I think may also be releasing sooner. Which I hope it'll be out by June. I could see it totally releasing like just really early next month. But Edelgard, she's a female axe user, and the reason I want her is because she's not a sword fighter. Oh my god, they had way more of the map than I thought they did. Holy shit. I thought we had that, but oh my god. She's a female axe user, and that's just more interesting. People are sick of the Fire Emblem sword. Like I said, I mean, Roy's a clone of Marth. Then they each have their own clones, being Lucina and Chrom, and then you also have Ike. That's 5 sword fighters, right? That's a lot of sword fighters for just one series. Bring in an axe user, bring in a spear wielder. I think it makes it more interesting. Again, that's why I like Corn and Robin, because magic and dragon. That's why I think Edelgard's a perfect fit. I think she'll do fine in the game. People will complain, but they'll get over it. Okay, they'll just bitch and moan a bunch, but they can suck it. I think it's gonna happen. We've talked about Rex and Pyra. I don't think, again, them being any costume or assist trophy has a 1% chance of happening. It's never happened before, so it could, but it's only a 1% chance. Being a spirit does not change a character's chances of happening, right? If a character is a spirit or an icon or anything, they can still most definitely become a character. Gino is hugely fan requested. I think he has a good shot. I really do. I think Gino has a great chance of being in this game. He's so much like Ridley. This is a game of fan requests, right? There's tons of characters in this game who were highly requested by fans. K. Rool, Ridley. Gino makes perfect sense. Ooh, this is the first I've seen of this. I wonder if that complicates things a little of team on team. So I think Gino has a legit chance. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Piranha Plant happened, so... I mean, okay, well, like I've been saying, Wii Fit Trainer happened, so anything's possible. But it's just a matter of time. Only time will tell. Well, by this time next year, I think... by this time next year, we will probably know them all, or we just won't know one. Maybe 1 or 2. And then lastly, the last character. Again, if Sakurai was picking him, I think this was a guarantee. If he wasn't, I think this kind of puts it more up in the air a little bit. But Bandana Waddle Dee. I know the Goomba argument, but Bandana Waddle Dee's fine. He's fun, he's cute. I think he'd be a great choice. Any Kirby character, honestly. The other one I have on here is Marks. Bandana Waddle Dee or Marks, they're both great picks. I actually kind of want Marks more, just because I'd like a Kirby. Because my problem with Kirby villains right now is that all of the Kirby villains we have aren't villains, aka King Dedede. I don't consider him a villain. But King Dedede hasn't been a Kirby villain in a long time, right? He's just not I mean, even in, like, not the first game, with Kirby's Dream Land. on the NES. He helps, well, yeah, he does some more stuff. He's also trying to stop the Nightmare. I don't think DDD's a villain anymore. But March would be a cool one. Maglore. Oh yeah, Kirby Wave 3 DLC got announced. So Kirby Wave 3 DLC, it's Maglore, Suzy, and Taranza, all great choices. There's also going to be a new difficulty mode, which is, it's a new, more difficult mode. That's cool. Sure, I'm down for that. I doubt it'll be that much more difficult, but hey, that's cool, that's cool. And it's presumed that if you beat this new difficulty mode, you will unlock the Generals of Magic, Suzy, Zanz, and Partisan in the Fire One. They're not Suzy, Francesca, the Fire One, and Zanz and Partisan. Oh yeah, no, that's actually something I really wanted, so that's cool. All the Kirby Dream Friends are great choices. You know what I'd love to see? I know there was Kirby Fighters on the 3DS. I'd love to see a Kirby, like Smash Brothers style game, just with all the famous Kirby characters, a bunch of the powers. Even if it just uses Star Allies engine to make a Kirby fighting game, just more advanced. That would be something I'd be really neat. Don't make it like actually put like freaking effort into it. Maybe I'd be down for that. Of course, we got our asses kicked. And yeah, that's all the characters. Anything, other ones I've talked about Robotnik before. I think he's a possibility. Other than that, who knows? I mean, it's Nintendo making the choices. They could, we could get freaking Abraham Lincoln from Codename Steam. That was a game. Remember that? Springman's definitely not gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna get ARMS. Is just too new to get any representation. Octolings probably aren't. We know there's not gonna be any Echoes, so Octolings aren't gonna happen. Even though I'd pay for Octolings. You know, Shovel Knight's not getting a character, sadly. Oh, did you find your Glow in the Dark ball? Yeah, that's all I gotta talk about. That went forever, and I kind of lost my mind there at the end. I'm so freaking tired. I've got more books. I have. Oh god. How many more hours? I think I have like 4 hours of book to read tomorrow. Listen to. And that, so I will definitely be kinged by the end of this. I think am I playing as a female character right now? I am, aren't I? So I will probably make Queen tomorrow, just playing casually. I was gonna try to do it tonight, but then we lost the last like 4 matches, so that sucks. Let's check the art as always. Good for you, avocado. Chipotle, chilies, Chipotle's Chipotle and, you know, I kind of see the appeal of Chipotle, I guess, kind of. Chili's, though, no. Chili's, Tex-Mex, nah. Chicken. Rockland? I am getting the channel. You know, that's something I put like 5, I just made sure the game was running. That's something I should do on stream, is Delta Run. Maybe in December. Just finish the Octo expansion. Lock is extra, I guess. Give me a minute, if you weren't. Where'd you drop it? If you weren't so picky with it and you would just drop it and let me throw it, I'd kindly do that. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Pikachu and Eevee. A lot of people wanted this Splatfest to be Pikachu versus Eevee, and that just didn't happen. Big miss. Again, you can do cross-marketing in Nintendo. Fans don't have a problem with that anymore. Like, I know in the first Splatoon you didn't want to do any cross-marketing because it's a new IP. It has to stand on its own. And then you did the Squid Girl stuff and we were all like, that's really cool. That was really clever. Do more of that. So yeah, I do think Nintendo should do more cross-marketing with Splatoon. Oh, who's a big boy? Who's a big boy? Oh my god, he jumped on me. Oh god. Oh yes, you're a big boy. Yeah, I think a Pikachu Eevee one would have been fine. I wonder what the Christmas one's gonna be next month. I hope they actually, like, there's been, like, I guess data miners find, like, a cloudy sky, like a snowy sky. So we may actually, much like the Halloween one, we got, like, full Halloween decoration. We may get full Christmas decoration, because the first Splatfest I ever streamed was the Christmas one of Sweater versus Socks. But yeah, so next week, I will not be here. There will not be a stream next week. I got family coming in from town, and that's all my time. That will take up all my time until like Sunday if I'm lucky. And I know it's gonna be Sunday just because I have college to do. The following week we will be back with Wind Waker. We're doing this Triforce Scavenger Hunt. And then we may beat the game, we may not. I don't know. It kind of depends on what's just going on and how long the Triforce Scavenger Hunt takes. We already have some of the pieces to get it, but we still have like half of them to go. Plus, I don't remember where they all are, and I'm trying not to Google it. I make no promises though. And then we and then if we don't do that, we'll beat it the following week. If we don't do it next week, then the following week is Smash and Chat, because Smash Bros. Comes out. I don't know if I'll be streaming World of Light or any of that. I probably won't, but we'll be definitely doing Smash and Chat that night. And then we'll be Wind Waker the following week if we didn't, and then we go on for the end of the year of Zelda. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.